Hello, I'm BMillzebub, and welcome to my channel. I'm sure you all remember Monday's video where I discussed being approached and at least borderline harassed by a Muslim man in a pizza shop. This is part 2 of the story after we had already left the shop and got into an argument with my friend over freedom of and from religion. I posted a couple of polls last week asking if freedom of religion does include freedom from religion, and should freedom of religion include freedom from religion. Before I get to the results, let's talk about what freedom from religion means, since some people didn't seem to get it. Freedom from religion means that religion can't be legislated and no one should have to deal with harassment in public or private spaces from religious proselytizers, much like with any other form of harassment. It doesn't mean that we don't have to see religion or religious practices. Some people are going to pray before they eat or something like that, and that's perfectly fine. They're keeping it to themselves instead of being loud and boisterous about it and insisting that everyone else prays before they eat or whatever, like they do. Now that we've got the term out of the way, let's take a look at the polls. First, I asked if freedom of religion does include freedom from religion, and 94% of 2,293 voters said yes, which is pretty close to what I was expecting. But there is a possibility that the results were skewed somewhat in my favor, since I do tend to attract a more secular crowd. This question had more to do with the reality we live in, and even though freedom from religion is necessarily part of the First Amendment, 6% of people voting on the poll still said no. Now, while the First Amendment does explicitly state freedom of religion, freedom from religion is in there implicitly. We don't have to choose a religion. We're free to not practice religion. But even more than that, we don't have to live under any religious law. It's all part of that whole Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion thing. It does finish by saying or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, but that means in your personal private time. Practice your beliefs your way. As long as no one is being harmed by it, fine. Whatever. But what it doesn't mean is legislate that shit and force others to live under your religious dogma, whether they follow it or not. The next poll got significantly less attention, but still got plenty more than I actually needed for decent results. In this next one, I asked if freedom of religion should include freedom from religion, and the results were quite a bit more favorable for the yes column. This question dealt with a hypothetical because sometimes in America it feels more like a hypothetical than the fact it actually is. Look no further than the abortion laws being put in place exclusively for religious reasons, or religious institutions getting special tax treatment, even if they violate their not-for-profit status by talking politics from the pulpit. It really is a shame that freedom from religion has to be discussed in such a hypothetical way more often than it gets discussed in its real world way, unless you're in the atheist community at least. But as for the turnout of the poll, 99% of you voted yes out of a total of 413 voters. But let's get back to my argument with my friend. He asserted that there is no freedom from religion because the Constitution only specifies freedom of, seemingly not understanding that freedom from was implicit in the wording, which actually was a common misconception in the comment section of the polls. The interesting thing about my friend is that he is a multheist, or put it another way, he believes in God, but he believes it to be evil. And yet here he is, essentially saying that he, and by extension, everyone else, shouldn't be free from religion in the law. This is one of the many things that religious indoctrination does to you. He and I both grew up Catholic, and we actually went to the same church and experienced comparatively the same levels of indoctrination. Now, realistically, he got more indoctrination than I did, but that's because his family was a little more Catholic in behavior than mine. But it truly is amazing how differently people in similar circumstances can end up. I'm curious about what all of you have to say, though. Do you think freedom of religion also includes freedom from religion? And if you think freedom of doesn't include freedom from, let me know why in the comments section. But that'll do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. If you feel so inclined to help me out, consider giving to my Patreon, where I plan on having monthly patron-only live streams or hangouts. Or consider getting me something from my Amazon wishlist. Every little bit helps in a big way, and every little bit is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, linked below, to keep up with all my comings and goings, and join my Discord for a chance to talk to yours truly. Take it easy, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next one.